Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, my name is Elsa Yuniara. I'm from Kuningan University. Now I want to presentation journal about can math education research improve the teaching of abstract algebra. Opening. Teaching method, it is arguably the most important factor affecting student learning. Effort to improve teaching have led to reform initiatives being proposed and tested throughout the college mathematics curriculum. Abstract algebra specifically has been the subject of such reform, including new curricula and pedagogies, since at the last 1,960, yet there is little advice that this change initiative have widely influenced the way abstract algebra is taught. We conducted a survey of abstract algebra instructor to investigate typical teaching practice and more specifically, faculty knowledge, goal, and orientation toward teaching and learning. Results revealed that a majority of respondents appear quite content to lecture, even among those who indicated a willingness to consider a change of pedagogical strategy. There is very little usage of exciting reform material or interaction with pedagogical research results. There appears to be an impermeable barrier between the pedagogical research finding and recommendation and practitioner who might implement them. Research question. We investigated the following research question. 1. What pedagogical practice do abstract algebra professors report using in their classroom and why? 2. What encouragement and concentration of their use non-lecture practice do they perceive? Next, method. To create an instrument designed to measure the knowledge, goal, teaching, or learning orientation of mathematics. They conduct survey questions, asking the professor to rate the importance of various sources of information and to list factors and influence their teaching decision. Survey questions were sent to departmental administrators at approximately 200 institutions, targeting instructors who teach undergraduate abstract algebra. Data analysis. Our orientation was to survey instructors at master and PhD granting institutions. However, a small portion of our respondents, 9%, did come from school at the upper only bachelor degree in mathematics. In total, we received 131 completed surveys. On the whole, the respondent, 92% tenure, STEM faculty, and significant experience, both teaching in general and with abstract algebra specifically, and were most likely to be teaching an undergraduate group first course designed for a mixed audience. The essence of data analysis. In our discussion, we highlight areas where the respondent appeared to hold beliefs that should lead to certain pedagogical action, but they themselves do not reporting engagement in those actions. To address the second research question, we categorize instructor report on implementation non-lecture reform practice in a term of perceived constraint and viable support, and we compare this with those cited in literature. Result satisfaction. When measuring satisfaction, several dimensions were considered. For this report, we chose to discuss two in particular, textbook and student learning outcomes. Instructor comments indicated that the satisfactory rating statement from the breadth, depth, and sequencing of content. In summary, instructors that we interpreted as a reporting mixed satisfaction indicated the student learning most of the important content and worked reasonably hard. The comment of the instructor we characterized as dissatisfied were complaints about the unsatisfactory work ethic, motivation, and ability of the student. In contrast, we satisfied instructor were less likely to mention the student. Rather, instructors who reported high level of satisfaction were the most likely to comment on the format and curriculum of their course. We believe that their course was different from most traditional abstract algebra course due to the use of some form of inquiry-based learning. This figure 2 perceives constraint on the use of non-lecture practice. While the group did very widely in typical response, it was interesting to note that there were two common themes emerged across all levels of satisfaction. One, the first observation was a general frustration with student lack of prerequisite prop skill and poor prop writing ability. Two, the other common opinion was that it was both difficult and inappropriate to design and teach a course for different constitutions. This figure 3 research reported as very influential by respondents. Teaching method. Lecture was the most common pedagogical practice, with 85% of respondents claiming that they currently lecture to teach abstract algebra. They included the 8% of instructors who report returning to lecture after trying some other method. The reason instructor provided for not yet attempting other pedagogy and the explanation offered for why they will never change their habit and can be seen in figure 2. In short, the two main themes of the comment related to the effort and support needed to receive and teach such a class and corner about covering the appropriate amount of material. One of the most interesting findings was the apparent contradiction that emerged when comparing the responses to the following prompt. This result suggests that faculty support the use of non-lecture class activity. Yes, when asked the student do in class besides taking notes, and only thing that instructor claimed that student did in class. Even at the rate of once per month, was doing calculation, working with example, or working with application. Thus, we argue that there exists a mismatch between belief about student learning and actual teaching practice. One could argue that this mismatch might be explained by a perceived lack of time to make adjustment to their teaching practice on the part of the instructor. Therefore, in general, it does not appear to be the case and time constraint alone account for the discrepancy between how instructors say that want to teach and how they actually teach. Influences on instruction. In discussing other of significance, the participants report that their experience as a teacher, 84%, and experience as a student, 64%, were far and away the most significant. Participants also report to taking the colleagues about how to teach specific content was important, 49%. From this number, it appears that most mathematicians have few influences on their teaching, are the external to their own university. To be fair, it should be noted that we do not know the distribution of those individuals who read the literature and attend professional development university. This lack of outside influences is likely to be especially prohibited for the 59 of 106 respondents who would consider trying something other than lecture but have not because they have not had time to resign their course, have not found material that they like, or don't know where to start. The conclusion, there are four major findings that we highlight. First, lecture is the predominant mode of instruction and have those who have tried other pedagogy appear to switch back to lecturing and surprisingly high rates. The second major finding relates to the factor that influence pedagogical decision. Third, while faculty claim that they have the ability to change their course, the reported satisfaction level indicated they do not have the best right to do so. Furthermore, the majority of dissatisfaction stems from perceived problem with the student and not the course material. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.